Okay, so today we are building a voice-controlled Flappy Bird game. So instead of clicking like this to get the bird to fly up, we are going to be using our voice. So I'll just refresh and open the console here, and you can see the words being recognized. And then when I say the word up, then you can see the bird go up. And if I say down, then it will go down. Up, up, up. Okay, cool. So this is pretty fun. A lot you can do with voice recognition, and we are going to build this fun game. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing we want to do is install this P5.js library. So this is what we're going to basically build our project off of. And in order to import that, we're just going to find the CDN and copy that, and then hop over to an editor. I'm using Visual Studio Code. So I'll just create a new file, index.html, and we can just add some basic info here. And then in the head tag, we'll add script. Actually, I think it's all there in what I copied. So now we have a link to p5.js, and the next library we need is a part of P5, but this is the P5 speech library. So this is what we're going to use to actually recognize our speech and the words that we're saying. So you can go here, and I'll provide all of the links in the description as well as the code in a GitHub repository. But basically you go here, just click on the library, and just copy all of this, go back to your editor, and maybe you want to call this p5.speech.js and just paste it there. And you can go ahead and stick this in a library folder too, just to keep it separate. And then to import that, just do script source equals lib/p5.speech.js. Okay, great. So now we have what we need to get started. And I would recommend just kind of looking over these docs, this documentation, and see what you can do with the voice recognition library. But we're just going to do a few simple things here. So let's create some JavaScript here. And we'll say let my recording equals new p5.speech rec. Okay, so we're creating a new recording variable here, and we'll say my recording.continuous equals true. So this is something they talk about in the documentation. You can set it true to keep tracking the words that you're saying. And we'll say my recording.interim results equals true. Interim results right here. So you can decide whether to set this true or false, but I set it to true just to give faster results. And one more thing we need is on result, we are going to call a function that we haven't created yet, but I'll call this parse result. Copy that and just create it down here. Okay, and then we can go ahead and start that. So we basically have everything we need here. Now in the function itself, let's say let word equals my recording dot result string, and save that. Actually, we'll add dot split and then dot pop. Okay, so what this is doing is getting the most recent word. So you get the result of the voice recognition in a result string, and that can be a phrase or a sentence, but what we're interested in is just getting the most recent word that the user speaks. So we have that here, and let's just console.log that and see if it's working. Okay, so that's looking good. One thing I want to note too is that I'm using the extension live server for this, so you can install it in VS Code. And I'll come back over here and just right click on the file, open with live server. And it'll take a second, but it should show up here. Now if I open the console and try speaking, hopefully some words will show up. Oh, I'm using the Brave browser now. I actually recommend just using Chrome for this because I've run into issues with the Brave browser. So hop over to Chrome, open the console. Okay, great. And now you see each of the words getting loaded here. And that's looking good. Okay, so we have the voice recognition aspect of this down now. And, there's one other tutorial I would recommend looking into. This is the coding train on YouTube. And I drew a lot from this tutorial in the video I'm making now. So I'd recommend checking that out. And I'll provide a link to that as well. And now the next step is we want to actually use the voice recognition to control a Flappy Bird game. So another tutorial I recommend is this one, Flappy Bird in 25 lines of code. I draw pretty heavily from this tutorial as well. I'm not going to do it in 25 lines. I'm just going to take some bits and pieces of his approach here. But I think it's also a good tutorial to learn from. So I'll provide a link to both of those, but let's hop back over here. I'll just close out of that for now. And back in the editor, let's come down here and just exit out of these. Okay, now what do we want to do for Flappy Bird? I'm just going to create a separator here to keep the code separate. Okay, so first we want to actually create a body element in the HTML up here. So I'll create that, and then we need a canvas element, and I'll give this an ID of C, and we're going to select that later, and just give it a width and height of 700, just to make it a nice square. Okay, and down here we'll say let canvas size equal 700 because we're going to use that in a few calculations. Now what we also want is a bird. So I added this bird image here, and it will be in the GitHub repository as well. But we need a variable, so const bird equals new image, and we're going to set the source bird.src to bird.png. So that's created here. Now we're going to create a few variables and then display the bird. So we'll set bird size to 50, the bird X position to 0. It'll start on the far left, and we'll say bird Y equals canvas size divided by 2, so it'll start in the middle vertically. And then I'll create let delta equals 0. So this is basically going to be the variable to track the change in the vertical position. So when a user says up or down, this will either be positive or negative value. Okay, now that's looking good. We just need to create a few more things here. Let's create a gravity variable as well. And you can play around with these numbers, but I'll set it to just 0.1 for now. And I think we're at a point that we can actually display the bird, but we're going to create a set interval function, which will run some code every few seconds or less than that. So I'll create that here, and for the second argument you want an interval value. So let's just say interval and create that here. It's going to run pretty fast, so we'll just set this to, like, this is I think 1 second, and we're setting it to 30, so this is going to run pretty quickly. Did I spell that the same? Interval. I'm just going to copy and paste that. Okay, cool. Okay, so that's looking good. Now we're at a point I think that we can set up the canvas. So first let's set the context to fill style. Oh, I need to create this too. So let context equals c.getContext 2d. So if you remember up here, we created this canvas ID C, and we're selecting that here. And then down in the set interval function, we'll say fill style equals sky blue. So we're just adding the sky color, and we'll say context.fill rectangle 0, 0, and then the width and height, so the canvas size. So we're just drawing the sky, and then let's go ahead and actually draw the bird. So context.draw image, and then pass the bird image we created up here, and then we'll pass the X and Y position, so bird X, bird Y, and then we'll add the bird size here and here for the width and height. And if I go ahead and open that, we can see it's drawn here in the canvas, but the bird's looking a little squished, so I'm just going to update the width here. Let's actually just add a aspect ratio of 1.5 just to kind of account for that it's a little wider than it is tall. Okay, so that's good. One more thing we want to add here is update the bird Y value. So we're going to have gravity kind of constantly pulling the bird down. So we just want to set that equal to the delta, so the change in position, and then minus equals gravity as well. So if I save that and open this, now we can see it's starting to fall down. So that's looking good. Let's go back here and actually add c.onClick. Oops. So we're going to update the delta value here and just see if clicking it will get the bird to fly. Okay, so that looks good. We're just increasing the delta by 5 each time you click. Now, obviously we want to do this using our voice, so we'll remember that we need to update the delta variable, but we won't actually use the clicking functionality. Okay, so what's the next thing we want to do? Let's go ahead and actually draw the pipes. So there are some variables we want to create for tracking the pipes. Let's create the pipe width. I'll just set that to 75. Let's create the pipe gap. So what the pipe gap is, and I have the finished version over here. So that's just the space between these two bars. So that we can set to canvas size divided by 2. Let pipe X, the X position, set to 0. Actually, no, we'll set that to canvas size because I'm going to exit out of this one actually and come back over here. It's starting on the far right side of the canvas, and then the bar, the pipes will start kind of floating to the left. So we have the pipe X set here, and then in the interval we're going to do pipe X minus equals 5, so that will kind of move it to the left. So let's open back up our demo version. Okay. Oops. Okay, so we're not actually drawing the pipes yet. We need a couple more things. Let's see. We have pipe X. We also want let top top pipe bottom Y equals 75. So this is the top pipe bottom Y location. And let's actually draw these on the canvas too. So we want to do context.fill style equals green. These will be green pipes. And we'll draw the top one first. So context.fill rectangle pipe X, so the X position, 0 for the Y position, pipe width, and then top pipe bottom Y. Okay, and so this is the size of the top one, and if I save that, now let's go back. Now we can see the top one showing up, so that's looking good. now let's go ahead and create the bottom pipe. So context.fill rectangle pipe X bottom Y. So this is, did we create that actually? Bottom Y we did not create yet because we need kind of a dynamic pipe here. So we'll say let bottom Y equals top pipe bottom Y plus pipe gap. So the sum of these two values, the gap and the top pipe bottom Y, will be the second variable here. And then we want to pass the pipe width and the canvas size for the total height there. Okay, now if I save that, jump back over, we see the two pipes showing up. So that's looking good. We just want to keep redrawing them and change the gaps for each ones. So how do we do that? Let's come back down here and say if pipe X is less than minus pipe width. So if the pipe is moved off the screen, then we want to redraw it. So we'll reset the pipe X value to the canvas size, and we will reset top pipe bottom Y to pipe gap times math.random. So what we're doing is just resetting the pipe and randomizing the gap so it's not the same space each time. So now if I just click and kind of get past the first pipes here, great, now we see new pipes getting created, and it should be random each time as the pipes are moving to the left. Okay, awesome. So that's looking pretty good actually. Just a couple more things we want to do. We want to actually account for, when how the game logic should be reset and not just run forever. So how does it reset? It resets if the bird hits a pipe. So what does that look like? We'll create this variable hit pipe equals, we'll say if either the bird Y value is less than the top pipe bottom Y, or if the bird Y value is greater than the bottom Y. So it's colliding with a pipe, okay, and the pipe X value, see, it's not enough by itself. We actually need to account for the pipe X value and say if that's less than the bird size times aspect ratio, so the full width of the bird, then we'll refresh and just hit one of these pipes. Well, we're not actually accounting for that condition, but this is all captured here now. So we have this either true or false, and we say if hit pipe, or we'll say if the bird Y is greater than the canvas size. Or if bird Y is greater than canvas size, so if the bird goes down beyond this canvas, then we want to reset the delta value and also reset the bird Y position to the center, the vertical center. So canvas size divided by 2, and reset pipe X to canvas size. Okay, so let's restart that and collide with the pipe. Cool, and it reset. And then if he falls down here, then it also resets. And let's just test the top pipe collision as well. Cool. Okay, that's looking good. Yeah, I think we're at a point that we can actually incorporate the voice logic now. So what is controlling the positioning? So we have this onClick function here, and we want to use the voice logic. So we go back up here to our where we're getting the word, and let's just say if the word equals up, then we'll update the delta value, and then else if word equals down, we also want to update it. So let's just say set the delta to 5, same as we had in the onClick, and then delta to -5 if we say down. Okay, so save that, jump back over here, make sure you're getting the words in the console. Refresh. Up, up. Awesome. So it's working. Let's try up, 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 down. Ooh. Okay, cool. Yeah, it's looking good. So pretty fun game. Sometimes you might run into issues with the browser you're using or the speech library, but just look through the documentation, look through other tutorials, and there's a lot of kind of cool, interesting things you can do with this kind of project. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Please take a look at my other tutorials. The website I own is learncodebydoing.com. I have a couple Udemy courses on here and a couple other tutorials, so take a look, and thanks for watching. So